What's up?
So a few days after watching the Mortal Kombat 1 Combat Pack 2 trailer, knowing that Ghostface was going to be a new DLC character that they was going to add to the pack, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get all the references and stuff that he say once he does come out. So I decided to watch all 6 of the Scream movies the day after. And I think I can easily say that Scream has become one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. Now, if you don't know what Scream is, which I don't know why you're watching this video if you don't know what Scream is, Scream is a horror slasher that kicked off a new wave of slasher movies and helped give horror a much needed breath of fresh air in the 90s, which was kind of a decade of forgettable sequels than originals. The first 4 Scream movies was directed by Wes Craven before the requels.
Witches.
See, you can't just reboot a franchise from scratch anymore. The fans won't stand for it. Black Christmas, Child's Play, Flatliners, that shit doesn't work. But you can't just do a straight sequel either. You gotta build something new, but not too new, or the internet goes bug fucking nuts. It's gotta be part of an ongoing storyline, even if the story shouldn't have been ongoing in the first place. New main characters, yes, but supported by and related to legacy characters. Not quite a reboot, not quite a sequel.
The requels was directed by Tyler Gillett and Matt, I'm not even going to say his last name because I know I'm going to get it wrong. Wes Craven had also directed A Nightmare on Elm Street, which explains why A Nightmare on Elm Street is referenced in the first Scream movie. Now, this video itself is going to be kind of a review of the Scream movies, but I'm not doing each one individually of why I like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. I'm just going to talk about the movies overall and talk about why I love the Scream movies and why I enjoyed watching them, even the requels. The whole Scream franchise itself begins with a high school student named Sydney Prescott and her friends, who on the anniversary of her mother's murder become targets for a mass killer known as Ghostface. What I love about these movies is how meta and self-aware each movie is. Each movie literally follows a pattern, including the beginning kill in each movie. There's always a beginning kill in each movie. And in the beginning kill in Scream 1, the very first movie, is one of the most iconic moments in horror movies. The first 10 minutes of Scream itself could be one of the best short films ever. That's literally how good the first beginning kill of Scream is. Another pattern that each Scream movie has is also the horror movie enthusiast. There's always a horror movie enthusiast in each Scream movie who always breaks the fourth wall and tells each person what they shouldn't do in horror movies or talk about other horror movies in horror movie genres. And it's funny because they're literally talking about things you shouldn't do in a horror movie and they're in a horror movie. Another obvious pattern for the Scream movies is that there's always 2 or more ghost faces in the movie. The only Scream movie I believe that doesn't have 2 or more ghost faces in it is the 3rd one. And I know the 6th one has more than 2 ghost faces. There's actually 3 ghost faces in the movie. But there's always a second person or a third person that has the mask on as well. And in each Scream movie, they always end up revealing themselves by the end. But the fun thing about it, what makes it interesting for each Scream movie, is trying to guess which person you think is going to be the killer. Because sometimes you can believe it's one person, but it ends up being a totally different person that you didn't really believe could be the ghost face in the movie. Which also makes it fun and keeps you on your toes thinking, which one is the ghost face going to be? Which I'm pretty sure is going to be this person, but it ends up being a completely different person that ends up being the ghost face. Another one of my favorite things about the Scream movies is the kills that Ghostface get and getting to hear Roger Jackson's sexy Ghostface voice.
I have forgotten my wallet. Curses.
Because the thing about Scream, it's not no abnormal monster or something that kills people. What makes the kill so gruesome is that it's just a regular man in a costume that's just stabbing you to death with a knife over and over and over and over. The plot of Scream itself has been able to actually tell a consistent story throughout all the Scream movies, bringing back each character from the previous movies and deciding in the next movie whether or not they live or die. Even in the Stab movies, which are the movies based on the killings of Ghostface in the Scream movies, stays consistent. The Scream movies were actually really good, and I couldn't wait to watch each one after the previous one. But there would be times where I had to stop a little bit because the killings would get too intense, and then I'd start to feel them reflectively, like on my hands or on my neck, and my neck would start to hurt a little bit. But other than that, they were fine. Now, I do know the Scary Movie, which is a literal parody of the Scream movies, which is funny because Scream is kind of parodying other horror movies. I haven't watched the Scary Movie since I was a kid, which I'm kind of glad because I didn't ruin my experience with watching the original Scream movies, and now I can watch the Scary Movie and laugh on all the jokes and references they made on a literal movie that parodies other horror movies. So yeah, Scream is GOAT. This is my first time making an actual review on a movie. I honestly didn't think I was going to make this video because of me procrastinating on making this video, which I do for a lot of videos that I'm going to make and post on this channel. If you guys like the review or just my appreciation of the Scream movies and me making a whole video on it, then like, subscribe, turn notifications on. I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you guys want me to make more reviews on different shows and movies, then I'd be glad to. There's a bunch of shows I've watched on Adult Swim, a bunch of cartoons I've watched, a bunch of TV series that I've watched, and I would not mind watching the show and giving my opinion on the show if you really care about my opinion. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll see you later. Peace.